The two decrees to rebuild Jerusalem. Long ago, in the exile of Babylon, the prophet Daniel received a vision. 70 weeks of years, 490 years, were appointed for his people and for the holy city of Jerusalem. The angel spoke of a command to restore and to rebuild the city, a span of time that would reach all the way to the Messiah, and then to the desolations that would follow. Centuries passed, and the first decree came. In the reign of the Persian king, Artaxerxes, a trusted Jewish servant named Nehemiah, solemn and determined, stood before the throne. Nehemiah was granted permission not only to return to his homeland, but to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. It was a moment of courage and restoration, as broken stones and burned gates were lifted back into place by men weary from exile, yet burning with hope. From that decree, the years unfolded like a divine clock. 483 years later, in the dusty streets of Roman-occupied Judea, the Messiah appeared. Jesus of Nazareth rode into Jerusalem on a humble donkey, hailed as a king by the crowds waving palm branches. Days later, he was cut off, not for himself, but for the sins of the world, crucified under Pontius Pilate while the temple priests looked on. Just as Daniel foretold, the Anointed One came, and then he was cut off. Soon after, judgment fell. In the year 70, the Roman general Titus marched with his legions. Fires roared, stones tumbled, and the temple itself was torn down, not one stone left upon another. The Jewish people were scattered into the nations, forbidden from their own city. Jerusalem became a prize of empires, renamed, repopulated, and trampled by Romans, Byzantines, and then Muslim conquerors. The centuries became a wilderness of foreign rule, a long gap between God's promises. Then, in the 16th century, a new ruler rose. His name was Suleiman, called the Magnificent, the Ottoman Sultan whose empire stretched across 3 continents. Clad in rich robes, crowned with a white turban, he was remembered as a conqueror, a lawgiver, and a builder. In the year 1537, he ordered the crumbling walls of Jerusalem to be rebuilt. His masons and soldiers hauled stone upon stone, raising the same mighty walls that still encircle the old city today. His decree was etched into stone at the Temple Mount, sealed with his name, a monument of power and permanence. From that decree, another cycle began. 490 years later points directly to our generation, the year 2027. If the first decree led to the true Messiah, could the second be preparing the way for a deceiver? For Satan himself is a master counterfeiter, imitating God's precision with a deadly lie. Look at the signs of our own time. In the year 2020, Israel signed the Abraham Accords, a covenant with many nations, promising peace and prosperity, but peace did not last. On October 7, 2023, Hamas fighters poured across the border with fire and blood, slaughtering innocents and declaring that one of their goals was to stop the preparations for sacrifice on the Temple Mount. For the first time in nearly 2,000 years, Israel had been raising red heifers and training priests for the service of a new temple. Hamas swore they would not allow it. The pattern is chilling. A covenant with many, sacrifices prepared, war erupting to stop them, and the clock of 490 years closing in on its mark. 2 decrees stand in history like bookends. The first pointed exactly to Jesus Christ, who came right on schedule and gave his life as the true Lamb of God. The second points to our time, and perhaps to Antichrist, the deceiver who will exalt himself in a rebuilt temple before the true King of Kings comes in glory. History is not random. The same God who set the first decree has allowed the second. The same precision that brought Messiah to the cross may now be setting the stage for his return and for the final deception before that day. Are you ready? For Jesus said in the Gospel of Matthew, "Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not the Son of Man cometh."